Sailboats race on Lake Michigan near the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Lake Michigan is one of the Great Lakes, and Wisconsin is one of the 5 states that make up the Great Lakes region. The other states are Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. On a farm in Illinois, corn pours from a harvesting machine into a truck. Farms in the Great Lakes region produce much of the nation's food.
Lights shine from skyscrapers in Chicago, Illinois, the largest city in the Great Lakes region. More than 7 million people live in the Chicago area. Manufacturing brings great wealth to the Great Lakes region. These automobiles are being assembled at a factory in Detroit, Michigan.
This map shows where Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois are. Now let's travel through the Great Lakes region to discover what it looks like and to see what people do there. The stars on this map mark the capitals of the Great Lakes states: Madison, Wisconsin, Lansing, Michigan, Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Springfield, Illinois. On this map, you can see the main geographical features of the region. It is bordered by 4 of the Great Lakes: Superior, Michigan, Huron, and Erie, and by the Mississippi and the Ohio rivers. Other important waterways include the Wisconsin, the Illinois, and the Wabash rivers. The state of Michigan is divided into 2 parts, called the Upper Peninsula and the Lower Peninsula. We will begin our visit to the Great Lakes region in the state of Wisconsin.
A tour boat cruises past steep cliffs on the Wisconsin River. This area is called the Wisconsin Dells. Wisconsin has interesting geographical features, such as these lakes. Thousands of years ago, a thick sheet of ice called a glacier moved down from Canada and covered most of the Great Lakes region. As the glacier melted, huge chunks of ice were left behind. When the chunks of ice melted, the water formed lakes. In other places, the glacier smoothed the land and made it flat, like this rich farmland in Wisconsin. Today, farms cover much of the Great Lakes region.
Many farmers in Wisconsin raise dairy cows. This farmer empties milk from his cows into a large container. At a dairy, a machine fills jugs with milk and then puts caps on them. Wisconsin produces more milk, butter, and cheese than any other state in the nation.
This freighter is docked at Milwaukee, a major port on Lake Michigan. The largest city in Wisconsin, Milwaukee manufactures many different products. Workers in Milwaukee operate machinery used in the brewing of beer, the city's best-known product. At a factory in Wisconsin, a machine cuts and winds paper into huge rolls. The paper is used for magazines. The wood for making the paper comes from Wisconsin's forests.
Several tribes of Indians live in northern Wisconsin. These students are Menominee Indians. One of them demonstrates an Indian dance for his classmates. Part of northern Wisconsin borders Lake Superior, the largest freshwater lake in the world. Here, people can camp and hike in a large wilderness area, far away from big cities. Out in Lake Superior lie the tree-covered islands of Isle Royale National Park. The islands are part of the state of Michigan. Visitors explore these islands by boat or on foot. The islands are a refuge for wolves and for moose like this one. Now we will travel to the mainland of northern Michigan, called the Upper Peninsula.
A power shovel dumps iron ore into a truck on the Upper Peninsula. Michigan mines more iron ore than any other state except Minnesota. Most of the ore is used in other parts of the Great Lakes states to make steel. Iron ore is shipped through the Sioux canals. The canals allow ships like this one to travel between two of the Great Lakes, Superior and Huron. Ships can carry cargo from ports on the Great Lakes all the way to the Atlantic Ocean and then to other countries. An ice-covered ship moves through the Sioux canals in late January. Winters in the northern Great Lakes region are very harsh. Parts of the lakes freeze over, making it hard for ships to get through.
Now let's leave Michigan's Upper Peninsula and go over the Mackinac Bridge to the Lower Peninsula. The bridge crosses the Straits of Mackinac, a narrow body of water between Lake Huron and Lake Michigan. Fruit trees grow well near Lake Michigan on the Lower Peninsula. In an orchard, a harvesting machine shakes ripe cherries out of a tree and rolls them into a bin. People in Dutch costumes dance in the city of Holland, Michigan during a festival called Tulip Time. Most of the people of this city have ancestors who came from the Netherlands or Holland in Europe. People from many countries have settled in the Great Lakes region.
At a factory in Battle Creek, Michigan, a man samples breakfast cereal to check its taste. Much of the grain for the cereal is grown in the Great Lakes states. Detroit, the largest city in Michigan, stretches along the Detroit River. The river links Detroit with Lake Erie, another Great Lake. Across the river is Windsor, a city in Canada. Detroit is called Motor City because more cars and trucks are made here than in any other city in the world. At a plant in Detroit, workers polish automobile hoods. Many parts for cars are manufactured in other cities in the region.
A man watches as a machine tests a truck tire at a plant in Akron, Ohio, the state southeast of Michigan. Most of the tires for trucks and cars are made in Akron. Food processing is one of many different industries in Ohio. Here, jars of fruit preserves pass through a machine that tests the lids to make sure they are on tight. Cleveland is Ohio's biggest city and one of the leading manufacturing centers in the nation. It lies along Lake Erie, which you can see in the background.
People of many different nationalities have settled in Cleveland. These women perform a dance from a part of Europe called Lithuania. Much of southeastern Ohio is hilly, and there are few cities here. The main industry is coal mining. At a strip mine, a huge power shovel scoops up soil and rocks to get to the coal underneath. Coal is carried down the Ohio River on barges like these. The Ohio River forms the southern border of the Great Lakes region. Cincinnati, Ohio, is the chief port on the Ohio River. Factories here make many products, from tools to soap to playing cards. Agriculture is also important in Ohio. These women harvest radishes in a field.
West of Ohio, in Indiana, corn flows from a harvesting machine into a truck. Corn is the leading crop of the Great Lakes region. Much of the corn is fed to livestock, such as hogs. These boys show hogs in a contest at the Indiana State Fair. In the hills of southern Indiana, some farmers still use old-fashioned equipment. This farmer guides a pair of horses pulling a handmade harrow. The harrow smooths the soil for planting. In western Indiana, a girl on horseback crosses a covered bridge. Many people enjoy visiting the peaceful Indiana countryside. Hundreds of thousands of people attend the Indianapolis 500, a famous automobile race held at Indianapolis each Memorial Day. Here, the cars parade around the track before the start of the race. Vacationers walk along the shore of Lake Michigan in northern Indiana. The lake shore is popular in summer.
Indiana also has many industries. Here, a man works on a trombone at a factory that makes musical instruments. Many people work in steel mills in northwestern Indiana. This man uses a computer to control machines that roll steel into wide, flat pieces.
West of Indiana, in the state of Illinois, the skyscrapers of Chicago overlook Lake Michigan. The tall, dark building you see in the center is the Sears Tower, the tallest building in the world. It is 110 stories high. Chicago is the nation's second largest city after New York. Chicago is also the biggest transportation center in the country. Planes stand at the gates of O'Hare Airport, the busiest airport in the world.
Trains of freight cars fill a Chicago railroad yard. Chicago handles more rail freight than any other city in the United States. Chicago is the leading port on the Great Lakes. Freighters like these carry products from the region to places throughout the world. Cities in Illinois produce many kinds of goods. This man helps make farm machinery at a factory in East Moline.
Farmland covers most of Illinois. Much of the state is prairie. Before farmers cleared the land, tall grasses grew in the deep, rich soil. One nickname for Illinois is the Prairie State. A machine digs up weeds between rows of soybeans on a farm in Illinois. More soybeans are grown in Illinois than in any other state.
At the southern tip of Illinois, the Ohio River on the right joins the Mississippi River. The Mississippi forms most of the western border of the region. Rivers and the Great Lakes provide transportation for the region's many products. At a factory in Illinois, a man examines glass for television picture tubes.
Wind fills the sails of boats racing on a lake in Michigan. Throughout the Great Lakes states, people come to enjoy the outdoors. These 5 states are an important industrial and farming region. They also offer many things to do and many places to explore.